Going to talk more about the NATO summit with France 24's international affairs commentator Doug Herbert, who joins me on the set. Doug, for all of Zelensky's disappointment going into his talks today, he's actually not going home empty-handed. What's in store for him?
Well, yeah, let me begin with the disappointment. Zelensky's been clear. He is blasted as unprecedented and absurd. Those were his words. What he sees is this ambiguity coming out of the Western alliance. On the one hand, they say, yeah, we are extending in the future, somewhere down the road, an invitation for you to join NATO. But how and when that's going to happen, they don't say. There is no clear timeline, no clear path for an invitation to join or to become a member. And that really boils the blood of Zelensky because he did expect more from the Western alliance. But he's in a very awkward position, right? He has to show his gratitude. He depends on the goodwill of the alliance's members and their continued support, even if he's pissed off at them, to put it bluntly. But you're right. He's not coming away empty-handed. He appreciates that. He understands that. So what does he have? I did a little chart. What Zelensky got from NATO. You might say not much, but that's not fair, actually. He did get some concrete things, which shouldn't be just dismissed out of hand. This fast-track process for invitation to join, what does that mean? Normally, there's something called the Membership Action Plan. It is a process of political and military reforms that are needed before, part of the process before they can be invited to join. Basically, they're waiving that. Like Sweden and Finland were able to waive it, they're saying Ukraine has demonstrated on the battlefield it's done a lot already to bring itself into compliance with NATO norms. When it does get an invitation, we won't make it go through this whole process. Seat on a new NATO-Ukraine Council. Let's keep the chart up a second. That's today. He's going to be sitting at the table with the rest of the 31 members there. No, not as a member of the club, Jeannie, but at least they're taking part and listening in on the decision-making process, including decisions about Ukraine. Nothing to sneeze at either. Russia, I'll note, was once also on that council. It was kicked off in 2014 after the annexation of Crimea. Sustained military, economic, and political support. This is the big thing. This is the crunch, right? Not just now in the here and now, the Scalp missiles that France is supplying, the Leopard tanks from other countries, the armored infantry vehicles, the air defense Patriot systems, all of that. But now and down the road, after this summit is over, the indication from the alliance members is that they will come up with plans continually for each country to continue giving military and political support and financial aid to Ukraine to deter current and future potential Russian aggression. And finally, the condemnation of Russia, telling Russia an ultimatum, withdraw your forces from Ukrainian territory, and also condemning its nuclear rhetoric and its nuclear signaling, pointing the finger of blame at Russia, saying it is the one playing the nuclear card here. Stop doing that. This is nothing to sneeze at. This is something that Zelensky can concretely take back to Kiev and say, look, I didn't get the membership, but we did get this stuff. It's something. It is still something.
All right, let's talk a bit more about Russia's response after these 2 nights of drone attacks on Kyiv. It definitely doesn't look like it's backing down.
Not at all. Listen, we just heard Emmanuel Shah's in Kiev there. It is doubling down. It's hunkering down. Its response has been a demonstrative response of what's happening. A direct result of this NATO summit is Moscow stepping up its show of force, its determination. We are not only going to not relent in these attacks on Kiev. We are going to show that they are going to continue unabated. There were attacks near the port on the Black Sea. Perhaps that was a sort of an implicit shot across the bow to Turkey on the Black Sea grain deal, showing that its decision to let Sweden into the club, to waive its objections, is not going to go unnoticed. That's what a lot of people are saying. And also its drone and missile attacks across Ukraine. All of this is significant. I will note that Sergei Lavrov gave an interview to an Indonesian newspaper called Compass, and I noted it down. He basically said that the armed confrontation, as he called it, with Ukraine will continue until the West gives up plans to dominate and defeat Moscow. So take your glasses off, change your entire viewpoint, your prism through which you see this. Whereas NATO sees this as a legitimate defense of Ukraine, Russia sees this as belligerence, as NATO teaming up against the world, teaming up against Russia to defeat it, to bring it down, to humiliate it, to bring it to its knees. And now more than ever, Russia is in this stance that everyone is out to get us. You could say that this is sort of paranoid. It reflects an insular worldview, but it's very much in line with the type of ideology, the state dogma that Vladimir Putin has promoted of a NATO and the West and the U.S. in particular out to get Russia. That's what they spend their days doing. That's what they spend their days plotting to do. So right now, coming out of this summit, has the summit deterred Vladimir Putin? Is it going to change his thinking? No, it will not, Jeannie. If anything, it will it will strengthen his determination.
All right, Doug, thanks for that. France 24's Doug Herbert.